Ford Motor Company has just debuted their next Model T movement, and I'm here to tell you, did Ford Motor Company just reinvent the moving assembly line? What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with TC Customs, and today there was a pretty big live stream that Jim Farley and all of the people at Ford Motor Company have just debuted. And I'm going to break down this entire live stream into a concise video. So if you like stuff like this and news related to Ford, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on. So what did they exactly debut? Well, first off, Ford Motor Company is doubling down their investment in Louisville, Kentucky assembly plant with an extra $2 billion spent in this plant, which brings the grand total to about $5 billion worth of EV investment between that and the Michigan battery assembly plant. So it's a pretty big investment that they are doing, but it's not just about like money though. It's also about job creation. I'm so glad that Ford Motor Company has debuted this whole system and setup inside of the United States, North America, because at the end of the day, it's going to create 4,000 U.S. jobs, and 2,200 of them alone are going to be in Louisville, Kentucky, which is really close to where we are in Alabama, just a couple states over. What Ford has debuted in this video is not nearly as important as how they are going to be building this new thing. But let's talk about the new vehicle itself. This is a brand new universal EV platform, and they're saying that this is going to be the biggest design shift since the Model T, which is a pretty strong statement because at the end of the day, the Model T revolutionized the moving assembly line. Now, what is this? This is a brand new pickup truck type of an EV that's supposed to be a mid-size electric pickup truck, first debuting with production in Louisville in 2027. Now, who built this? Who designed this? Well, Ford Motor Company hired a small Skunk Works team out in California to design this thing from the ground up. And I'm actually kind of proud of the way that they did this. They said, hey, we're going to remove all the red tape. We're going to remove all the bureaucracy that we possibly can and all of the oversight that can sometimes come from a legacy automaker and actually hinder some progression when it comes to new vehicle technology. So what do you get? You get a clean sheet, brand new vehicle from the ground up where you can completely reimagine how the vehicle's built, how it's assembled. I mean, they even talked about removing like 3/4 of a mile of wiring harness inside of this vehicle by reimagining how this thing is going to be assembled. And I'm really excited about how they are going to be building this, which in the traditional moving assembly line, you'd have one vehicle that just rode all the way down the assembly line and you just keep adding parts to it until you'd get to the end of that assembly line. Now, one thing I do like about this is they're basically going to have, I'm calling it like a tree, if you will. So you'll have the vehicle starts out in 3 assembly lines where you have a component over here that keeps getting built. You have a component over here that keeps getting built and another component over here that keeps getting built. And then at some point, all 3 of those merge together and basically snap together for an easier way to build the vehicle, which will allow them to initially offer this vehicle at a lower target price, which, speaking of price, it's supposed to start at $30,000. Now, I realize that we are biased being a Ford dealership, Town & Country Ford in Bessemer, Alabama and Pell City, Alabama, but I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade. Ford Motor Company also promised the F-150 Lightning was going to start at $39,000, and very, very few people ever ended up seeing an F-150 Lightning at that price point. So I'm hoping that Ford has learned from their sins of the past and that will actually debut and offer the vehicle in mass quantity where they can sell them at $30,000, because there's a couple of different ways that they are able to attain that price. First up, battery technology. Battery is the most expensive thing, the most expensive component on an EV, on all EVs. And so what is Ford doing? They're coming out with this vehicle is going to have a prismatic LFP battery, lithium iron phosphate battery cell. And the cool part is that it's going to be made in the United States as well. Although some of it will be imported, most of it will be done here in the United States. So I think that's pretty cool. But because we're talking about a brand new EV platform from the ground up, that allows you to do some things you've not done in the past, like more interior space. Because of this ground up architecture, you can move the dashboard forward a little bit. because it's not based on a traditional ICE vehicle. You can still have your front trunk and still have room for 5 people in the bed of the vehicle, and you can still have a true pickup bed. So that's kind of nice. It fits 5 people, and you can fit gear inside the vehicle as well. Now, one thing that is kind of interesting to me is that Jim Farley said that this thing is going to be faster than the Mustang twin turbo.
It will be faster than our Mustang twin turbo.
Is this a hint that Ford Motor Company is coming out with a twin turbo, or was he talking about the EcoBoost, which is a single turbo 4-cylinder Mustang? I don't know, but maybe he just hinted at the future of Mustang. I don't know. You let me know down in the comments. What do you think about that? Was that just a goof up, or is there maybe a little bit of a hint at the future there? So what is this whole EV pickup truck? Now, it's not going to be just a pickup truck. It's supposed to be able to shift into a car, into an SUV, into a 3-row SUV. The idea there is build this platform from the ground up and then allow it to be multiple different vehicles. Very similar to how you have the Ford Escape. And then you have on the same platform, the Bronco Sport and the Maverick and. The idea there is to have lower cost of production because you can share the engineering costs amongst lots of different vehicle lines. But in addition to just the lower cost, I think it's going to be important that you figure out a way to still get the vehicle as long range, and still have the ability to do fast charging. And the cool part about this particular vehicle, this is going to be interesting because it's saying that you can actually power your home for up to 6 days, which is going to be very interesting because the Ford F-150 Lightning can do the same exact technology, but they're saying that it can power it up to 3 days. So you're telling me there's going to be that much extra power? Or maybe are they counting the information a little bit different where you're rationing with the 6 days on this new EV architecture, and then they were talking about full on for, full power consumption on your home when you're plugging your Lightning up to help power that house. But it's interesting. Now, there are, as I mentioned to you, going to be a lot of different body styles planned for work and for recreation. It's not just for, a pickup truck or an inexpensive. But at the end of the day, the goal here was to have a profitable EV that can be affordable for millions of people. And it's not supposed to be some loss leader. It's not supposed to be some vehicle that is really just a compliance project to make sure that you hit your CAFE requirements for, the environment. It's nice to see that Ford Motor Company can actually come out with, and they still think they can come out with an EV that can be affordable, profitable for all. I think it's going to be a huge win. The one big thing, I do feel like this whole thing was a 58-minute tease and then end up not showing us the vehicle. I can't let that go. I really do like what Ford has to say in this video, but I really think they missed an opportunity to show us the vehicle inside of this live stream. That would have been epic. But at the end of the day, I also get it. Ford Motor Company has to get this information out there so that when they start retooling this plant in Kentucky, people aren't just asking questions. Whoa, how are we doing this completely different from the ground up? And at the end of the day, Ford Motor Company probably doesn't want to let their competition know exactly what this new vehicle is going to look like because they seem very, very confident this vehicle could be the next equivalent to the Model T. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.